What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another exclusive Gruemonkey interview. This week we had Blaine Kern on the show. You may know him from Happy Death Day 1 and 2, The Big Short, Shots Fired, and Claws. He has a couple projects coming out. One of the films that he was in just dropped on Netflix. It's called The Perfect Date. It is available on streaming devices now, wherever you can get Netflix. He also was in a horror film, Dreamcatcher, that's in post-production. That's going to be coming out sometime this year. And I think it is in post-production. But really cool guy, really chill conversation. We talked about his creative endeavors. He's not just an actor. He's a producer, filmmaker. He works on plays. In fact, he's working on The Loss of Roses this summer, something he is going to be kind of dipping his feet into, different hats. We talked about that on this episode, kind of not just sticking to one thing, being creative. And, the industry, there's so many avenues and so much stuff to explore. And someone like himself, I was able to kind of get that information from him, where it was like, oh, okay, there's not just, there doesn't always have to be one set path to some of the creative endeavors, and don't limit yourself. And we talked about working on indie films and how that may differ from major movie productions and stuff like that. Just a really fun conversation. And he's always welcome to come back on the show and to plug anything else that he has coming out. But this is our interview with Blaine Kern.
I was studying business, finance, and marketing at SMU in Dallas, and for some reason I decided to take a directing class at USC because I was over the summer, because I was starting to get more interested in films. I thought I'd be a producer or something, or a director. And while I was taking the directing class, I took an acting class to learn how to direct actors. And I took a class out here. I think the first play that I did was Biloxi Blues by Neil Simon. It was either that or Barefoot in the Park. And I loved it. I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I was like, shit, like almost immediately I was kind of like, this is what I want to do. Because I had always loved watching movies, but I never really considered myself like a very artistic, creative type of person growing up. And I always thought, because I was really good at math and sciences, that I'd be more of like in finance or a producer, which in the future I still want to be a producer. But yeah, it was just crazy. I was like, I don't even know if I'm good at this thing, but I love doing this thing. And
yeah, it's just something that you kind of just started to follow through once you started to get that feeling for it. You just kind of kept doing it.
Exactly. And so then I finished college a year early and just moved straight up out here and started like just dove right in.
Yeah, because I think that's like a vital thing too, because I'm an aspiring filmmaker, trying to make a lot of content as it goes on. And it seems like kind of breaking out and moving away to an area where things are a little bit more accessible in that way, where you can start networking and you can talk to people. That seems to be a really smart move from a lot of people. You hear a lot of stories of people just moving, going out there and just chasing their dream. It seems to be the best way to kind of to do that, especially where you grow up. Sometimes you're not really near a lot of those easily accessible resources to kind of get yourself out there or get your work
man.
shown.
It's the way to do it. We're in the city of dreamers. It's a community, And
yeah.
So when starting, I feel like you got to just throw yourself in, and I'm still doing my best to just keep myself in it. For me, I'm very much almost to the T, a training of my craft.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like,
you're just trying to articulate that.
Yeah, I was like, I have to go to LA or New York or London. Like, there's nowhere else I could study. I can't stay here in Dallas and study. Like, for me, is my first year of acting, I didn't go out for one single thing. or maybe even more, because I felt like, which I still feel like a lot of days that I have no idea what I'm doing. But I was like, I'm like, I gotta train. I gotta understand this thing, because I knew I loved it, but the thing that I'm learning is I don't think you ever really understand the thing.
Sure.
And that's kind of what's cool about art in general, is it's not an intellectual thing. You're creating. That being said, though, I'm in classes still kind of like a psychopath, just because I love it. And I'm a little craft obsessed, to be honest. Work obsessed.
Yeah, of course. But you want to be, you always are trying to top, we're, especially if we're, producers or, acting, in a sense, it's like you're going to be your own worst critic. And sometimes you're always just like, you know what, I'm just going to keep pushing, just try to, keep ascending in some kind of way, whether it's topping a role or topping a film or a project that you're working on. It always seems to be, never sitting still, always trying to keep busy.
Absolutely, man. And it's like, for me, I think we all are our worst critics, but kind of the bar I'm trying to reach for myself right now is, I just want to create stuff that I don't know if I'm ever going to like my work. I don't know if I'm ever going to think that I'm believable, but I try my best to be honest as I can, to tell the story the best that I can. And my bar is really, if I know that I really put my heart in it, I really try to honor the character and the story. And then finally that hopefully I want to affect people.
Yeah.
Whether it be to make them laugh, scare them with horror, or just to move people is really kind of my bar with what I want right now. My work.
And some of the work that you seek out, do you seek out particular roles? Are there specific roles that kind of that you try to go after, or maybe certain projects that you try to, or is it kind of like all over the place where you just kind of really explore different avenues or go in different lanes?
Man, honestly, right now where I'm at in my life with my work is that I want to work any possible thing that I can work to grow and learn. Of course, I have certain roles that I'm more attracted to, because some roles I've kind of played already a decent amount of times, and I really want to try to I want to play, and this is crazy, but I really want to play like kind of a softer character, a more gentle character, maybe even more feminine, just because it's something really different than anything I've done before. But there's not anything really particular that I like over the other. I think it's always just kind of what comes my way, and being grateful for everything that comes my way and doing the best that I can, and then growing as much as I can in whatever role that I do have the opportunity to have in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just trying to get all that experience, like you said, just try to take what's coming your way to kind of learn. If it's different kind of characters that you're getting, you can really learn from those individual roles, especially if they have some dynamic from character to character.
Absolutely. And you can also, even if, like, I feel that as long as it's in the line with the story and what I'm supposed to do, I can find joy in kind of finding a little bit of a different character in each type of work that I do, because they're all a little different. Like for Happy Death Day 1 and 2, the first one, I was kind of like a jockey, fratty, athlete, ladies man, want to be type of guy.
Yeah.
And because the second one was in a kind of different universe, even though some of the dialogue was somewhat similar, because I was trying to like have a threesome with two girls in the second one.
Yeah.
I was like, let me see let me see how I can make this different. And I kind of try to make my character more of like a really dense lover boy, you know, where I was just really sincere in how stupid I am, but really sincerely wanting a threesome and wanting both of these girls to like me, you know?
Yeah. Even with like a role like that, and especially with when you get like an idea for, or you have a sequel planned, especially the way that story is kind of driven to where it's constantly going back. That must be kind of interesting to kind of mess around with that a little bit, especially when they bring in the sequel idea for that film in particular.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I hope a third one comes and I have an opportunity to find some way to do something different with it too.
Were you kind of surprised, like how big of a fan base that movie's already kind of generated just from the first one? A lot of people really appreciate it, especially in like the horror community, or stuff that's more tongue in cheek, but also has a sense of humor. I feel like a lot of people really latched on to that because it was something a little different than the paranormal movies or the ghost movies that we always get. It was something that was kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, and I feel like it really caught on quick. You can't say that for a lot of horror films or stuff that kind of pushes some stuff. Some films they try, but I think that you guys definitely hit a mark with this one.
Yeah, man, it's funny. I got the role when I was in theater school in London, and I went over Skype with the director and everyone in New Orleans while I was in London, and I just went for it and I got it, and I really had no idea. I don't think anyone knew that it was going to have as much success and that I was going to get such amazing. I never had the chance to read the first script, so I kind of just went in. I was like, this is a great opportunity to have some fun, play a fun character. Let's go. And then it blew up, and it was crazy. I had no idea. I didn't even know that it was gonna honestly be in theaters and stuff.
Yeah, because at the time, sometimes you just shoot it, and then it's like whatever happens, happens with sometimes with the releases, like how wide of a release it could have gotten.
Yeah, but I think I totally think it's a well-deserved, how well it did, because kind of like what you were talking about, it's not like your traditional horror. It kind of knows that it's horror, and it brings in elements of comedy and kind of just
darker humor too.
Yeah, darker humor. Let's tickle make the audience laugh at how crazy the situation is, where it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is I think relieving for the audience when they can be wrapped up in something that's really has elements of being really scary, but then it can also oscillate between that and being really light and dark humor, So yeah, I'm super blessed to be a part of that. Everyone that's a part of that is really just brilliant, great storytellers. And the second one was, I love how they also just completely bended it and created a whole different type of film for the second one, a whole different genre, really. They're not afraid they don't want to just recreate the same thing over and over again. They're exploring stuff.
Yeah, they didn't want to fall into some of the sequel tropes that can sometimes happen, especially in the genre that we've all seen. We've seen sequels that have worked. We've seen sequels that haven't worked. So that it's one of those things where we're just gonna try something different again and make another left turn and throw all these different twists in there. It was well done. As far as any other projects that you've been working on, is there anything that you want to let the audience know of stuff you're working on up and coming?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, just zoned out for a sec. So I just finished an indie film. It's called Dreamcatcher, and it's a really great. It's another type of just keeping it in the horror thing. Another type of horror. It's really cool in that it also has its light elements, but it kind of has a mixture of horror, suspense, and it's very like there's a lot of techno music and stuff, so it's a very high energy, another fun type of film. I got the honor of being like one of the ensemble leads for that, and it was just an honor to work with everyone on that. It was really fun. Everyone, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been on set like with a group of people that were just really just going for it. It's my first real indie that I've ever worked on, and there's kind of a little bit of a different energy with independent film, I think, where we're all kind of scrapping it together, if that makes sense. And
yeah, like all creative minds come together on set.
It's really fun. There's a lot of freedom in that, and I made some really, really like incredible friendships with people. So that was super fun. And I'm playing kind of a similar, not totally a similar, it's like more of like a bad boy type of character in that. But it's fun. It's a really fun film. And then I also have another film that's coming out in like 3 weeks on Netflix, and it's called The Perfect Date. It's Chris Landon's directing it with Noah Centineo and Kamala Mendez, Matt Walsh. It's a bunch of really great people, and it's going to be great. It's kind of a rom-com type of film. I love my character in it. I love the story, and that was a character that I really got to explore and be a little bit of a wannabe artist, wannabe spray paint artist. Just goofy, I love any time that I can be goofy and have fun, and it's going to be great. It's coming out on Netflix, I think, April 14th.
Oh, awesome! So right around the corner, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good Netflix stuff has been coming out and been impressing the hell out of me. So that's good. Keeping the train rolling with the Netflix films, with that kind of being an outlet. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be great.
Now, with any like projects that you're producing, is there any stuff that you have, or has there been any like meetings, anything that you kind of have like cooking up from the creative mind on the producer side?
Yeah, I actually was producing a play that I really want to do. It's not something that I had created, but I plan on producing a play over the summer. It's called The Loss of Roses. It's by William Inch, and it's a very deep, kind of very different than a lot of the kind of work I've done. It's almost like modern. Okay. It's modern day Shakespeare based in the 30s Depression. And so I'm one of the main producers on that, and it's my first play I've ever done. So I'm really excited to get that together.
Another new experience for you.
Yeah, to work on that. I have a couple things that I've started writing. I don't know how deeply I can go into it all, but I just started writing a couple of my own projects that I'm really excited to get working, because I think the thing that I'm realizing more and more, no matter what industry you're in, like, you can be everything. You don't have to limit yourself to one thing. And I just consider myself an artist. I don't even know if I consider myself that. I don't feel like I'm that a lot of times, but that's what I want to do. I want to tell stories. And you can do that whether you're a producer, you're writing it, you're directing it, you're an actor. We're all here for the same thing. I don't really want to limit myself to acting, even though acting's my like real thing that I love more than anything, that and music. But I feel like it would be like writing's a really great opportunity for me to explore some of the different kind of work that I want to do and tell a different kind of story that's not really told often. One of my stories kind of has to do with being an actor and going too deeply into like if you were to like go too deeply into the craft and be almost schizophrenic with it. And then the other one, it's another dark comedy. It's kind of fun. I don't want to really talk about it, but it has to do a little bit with like humor in sobriety, and almost it's a little bit like The Master, and but has to do with sobriety. And I don't want to give away too much about it because I'm kind of new with writing it, but it's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, man, because it's always good to kind of have those ideas, and you can kind of work on them when they're in those like writing stages. You can always kind of like see what works, see what doesn't work, but like you have these ideas that you're just kind of like sitting on, just kind of like laughing, like, oh, I can't wait to actually share this with everybody or see who actually digs this. It's always cool to have those ideas. Always kind of, like you said, you're just pushing what you do. You're not just going to be put into one lane. You're going to push your other boundaries.
Totally, man. And I'm the same with singing and songwriting, and I play piano, and I'm looking to just start
I didn't know that.
creating my own music too. I see it all. It's all kind of the same thing. I don't know if that makes much sense, but I see all kind of just creation. It's really just telling a story or expressing yourself in some way. I got really motivated to kind of produce and create my own stuff, actually from my little sister. She just produced her first feature film, and it hasn't come out yet, but it's amazing. I was like, oh my God, like this is really good. This is really cool how they're telling the story in more of a not super plot driven narrative, but 1970s like wide shots, character based type of thing, because a lot of my favorite work was based in that era. And it's like, as an actor, as an artist, in anything, you have really the freedom to do anything that you want. And so I'm just trying to stay open to anything, and whatever opportunities come to me, like I'm just running with it.
Yeah, man, just trying to tell, like you said, just tell more stories in different ways. That's really what it is.
Absolutely. And have fun with it. That's the thing I have to always remind myself is you can get like super, for me, I get really wrapped up in wanting to do a lot of work, and keeping myself on my own toes and challenging myself, but then always reminding myself that I'm doing this because I love it so much, and I'm going to have fun with this thing,
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the main thing too, is just like, and when you have fun with it, the genuine message that you're trying to convey will come through. I think that's the main thing too. It's like because just being happy with it, and that's how genuine you could be with it, is when you're taking something and put your all into it.
Absolutely. And that's why one of the reasons why I think that the Happy Death Days, and why I think Dreamcatcher and The Perfect Date are going to do great, is because for all of those projects, we all were having fun. It's all having a good time. I'm here. My work is for you to watch it and enjoy yourself. And I like whether it's through, like, mainly what I've gotten is making people laugh, which I love trying to make people laugh. But whether it's through making people laugh or moving people emotionally, like, you want people to enjoy the experience. And that's all I'm really trying to do.
That's the main thing. It's because you could tell when, especially when you're always pushing those different wavelengths, there's people or there's movies that go on where you can tell where it kind of, that maybe the relationships start falling apart, but it's like when you have that interlaced connection with everybody's on the same page, especially on independent projects now, because I feel like for different filmmakers such as myself, that's going to be the lane of working as a team where you actually get, you get rid of all the middlemen and you actually work together to try to get this one project done, because it's like, it's all you can really do is just try to, try to piece it all together and also have different inputs on the project itself. That's always a good creative process for sure.
Yeah, man, it's great. Like the independent films, it's no one person is really in charge. It brings it back to more of a theater type of ensemble cast performance, which I really think all films underneath it have, even to the highest degree, where we're all creating together. No one person is running the show. At least that's how I think it's supposed to be. It's fun when there's, especially in the indie, when there's not a crazy budget and you don't really know what's going to happen. You have a schedule, you're sticking to it, but there's like an element of real unpredictability, and you're just like, all right, let's just run with it. We're in this together. This wasn't supposed to happen, but we're just rolling with the punches.
And that's the best way to get the, when you're just kind of winging it and saying, all right, you know what, this is going to be, we're going to try to get this down. If we could do this 2 or 3 different times, get some different takes, see what makes us laugh the most, see what makes us go, oh, that's fucking awesome, let's keep that. There's that energy behind it that pushes.
Right. Well, man, I'm really grateful that you called to talk to me today, and anytime you want to catch up or snag a coffee, I'm here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it sounds like a plan. I got your numbers, so we'll if you have any other stuff you want to come on and promote or plug, we're always putting out the show, because we do like podcast based stuff on like YouTube, and we do like the internet articles and stuff like that on our website. So we have different ways of getting, kind of networking, and we can get a lot of the stuff that you're doing out there, even if it's music related or acting related, any kind of production that you're taking up. We'll be able to promote it on the show. So
that means a lot, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the time.
Take me up on that coffee. Let's make it happen, man.
Absolutely, man. We'll make it happen.
All right, take care, brother.
Take care, man.